Life speaks. It speaks through struggles and success, through music and messages, the preconceived and the unexpected. Whether you are in the depths of the valley or in the midst of your mountaintop experience, everyone needs to be encouraged from time to time. Here we will share stories of strength, testimonies of triumph, verses of victory, observations, and information meant to touch the heart and uplift the soul, to keep you on your path of purpose and navigate this thing called life with power and authority. This is Andrea L. Hines, and I'm your host for When Life Speaks, here on ALH Broadcasting, an affiliate of the Streaming Inspirational Broadcast Network. I am glad you accepted the invitation to join us tonight. There's something in this broadcast just for you, and if it is going to be a blessing to your life, it will be to someone else as well. So share, tag, start a watch party, and invite someone you know to join us. Then turn down the volume of life and get ready to receive, so that when life speaks, you'll speak life. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to When Life Speaks. You have tuned in to ALH Broadcasting, and we're very glad to have you with us this evening. I have my co-host with me, Francina Booker. Francina, how are you doing this evening?
I'm doing pretty good, thank you.
Awesome. Always glad to have Francina with us, and here at ALH Broadcasting, and particularly on When Life Speaks, we have different segments of programming that we do to encourage and to uplift and to inspire. We have the power of one, and we talk with people who have done amazing things that just started out by themselves and have grown into movements and operations that they didn't even perceive the direction that they were going in. We have kept faith flowing. We have our prayer programs that come on, and of course we have our testimonies of triumph and our stories of strength, and just have a variety of things to represent what happens when life speaks, because life is speaking all of the time. Let's say good evening to our guests tonight. We have Linda Cooks on the line, and Ida Batts is there. Minister Angie is there. Macy Hill is there. Good evening to you. Glad to have you with us tonight. Be sure to share the broadcast, and I know that others will be coming in a little bit, and hopefully we will get to welcome them also. When I talked with Francina many months ago, seems like, we were talking about, I said, I really want to do something that highlights areas that seniors are either challenged by or would be interested in. Because as I talk to my daughter and talk to other people from different generations and different walks of life, we had discussion about what I wish I had known. So when we come together for Senior Sidebar, it's not just information about seniors and seniors' needs and challenges and all of that. It's for anybody and everybody. Because if you're blessed enough, you're going to get to be a senior. And I think about when I was younger, when I was much younger. I don't know whether you experienced this too, Francina, but when you're coming up, and people talk about retirement and talk about being a senior citizen, that's like forever away. This is, you don't pay attention to that. And as a result, you don't always plan financially well. You don't have things in place that you would have had in place. You don't, when you're 20 years old, you don't think about life insurance and, things like that that really benefit you as you grow older. And so there are a lot of things that we talk about that are not just for us, but for anyone in helping to understand how to, as we're going to talk about tonight, how to live a proactive life. Life happens, but we don't have to be totally unaware, and it doesn't have to knock us off our heels and put us in a place where we're just kind of spinning and not knowing what to do and where to turn and all those other kinds of things that we go through when life speaks. So we're going to talk about that tonight, but we're going to start off with Francina, because Francina several weeks ago came to us and was talking about something called Medicaid expansion. And it's something that has been in the news. It's something that has been all over everywhere. If you listen to anything, things that people are concerned about, and healthcare being one of those things that concerns us all. Um, and she was going to come back on. She said, I'm going to come back on after this meeting. I think the meeting was February 28th,
Yes.
when they were going to visit their congressman and all of that. And she said she was going to give us an update on Medicaid expansion. Before you do that, though, Angie had a comment. She said she just attended a class about retirement. Angie, I know, was when I first attended my first retirement seminar. I just couldn't. The only reason I was there was because I couldn't figure out why anybody wouldn't want to. So why these people who work 25 and 35 years, not wanting to retire? But that's a whole nother story on a whole nother day. So we're gonna hold that retirement piece, because there's some interesting things about retirement and what it means to people and all of that. But as far as Medicaid expansion, Francina, tell us what that day was like. Tell us what happened and what the outcome was, and just fill us in.
Well, first of all, hello everybody. Thank y'all for joining. On February 28th, myself and my advocacy group, along with other groups, we all met at the legislative building in Raleigh to meet with our legislators in reference to expanding Medicaid and getting them to support the bill. I got an opportunity to speak with my senator, who was very open, pleasant, understood. He allowed me to talk, understood what I had to say, but also he also explained his reasons. And it wasn't a yes or no. It was just that he wanted to go and see a little more of the policy, what it was all about. He wanted to know, as far as the money was concerned, who was going to be receiving it, how it was going to be distributed. Well, so I said I would follow up in 2 weeks, which I did, and I talked to his legislative assistant. He couldn't, in so many words, tell me whether the senator voted for it or not, but with the conversation, I already knew. Well, as of Wednesday, y'all, the Senate and the House got together and voted Medicaid expansion in 44-2.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes, yes, yes.
But now, there's still a process, because now, since they have come into an agreement, it has to go back to the House, because the House passed it back in February. But what happened is, with the Senate come together, they added some policies to it. So now the House got to go and re-examine these policies and what they're saying. But we already know they're gonna agree with it. And once they agree with it, then it goes to the governor, Roy Cooper. And we already know, again, because he's been fighting this for some years, since he's been in office, trying to get Medicaid expanded in North Carolina. But with that comes a budget. A budget is included, so he has to come up with a budget, and with that budget, that the House and the Senate has to agree with it. Now, when the policy they sent to him, when he looks at it, either he can veto it or he can agree with it. Again, we already know he's going to agree with it, but at the same time, are they going to agree with his budget? And the thing about it is, even if they don't agree totally, as long as they can come to some kind of agreement together,
Mm-hmm.
we're gonna be celebrating. But even in that, even after he passes it, it's gonna take a couple of months. In the process, we can start having people sign up for it. And so we're looking at over 600,000 North Carolinians having
Woo.
access to Medicaid expansion. Those that were not able to qualify for Medicaid because they made too much above the poverty level, but they didn't make enough to be able to afford the marketplace insurance. So
Mm-hmm.
this is a big win. This is a big win for North Carolina. And so we're looking at maybe July, maybe around July, August, that we'll really know where everything is coming together. So next week they're going to be meeting again. But like I said, we are shoe in. We are
All
shoe in.
right. All right.
And everybody's just so happy because it's needed. It's needed in North Carolina.
Mm-hmm. Francina, did you ever think that you would be in a place where you would be meeting with the governor or meeting with legislators and doing the kind of things that you're doing through the advocacy group?
Never. This wasn't even a part of my life. It was through my cancer journey that got me connected.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because I was a part of it and seeing what all went on with cancer patients firsthand, and me not having insurance because I was no longer able to work. What all you go through. And my legislative assistant said to me today when I called, because I sent an email to thank him, but I also wanted to do a personal phone call.
Mm-hmm.
And I said to him, I want to just tell him thank you so much. I truly appreciate. And he said, you don't realize y'all coming in person and speaking to him is what makes the difference. I mean, anybody can phone
Wow.
call, and email, but it's that personal connection of telling your story and how it relates to you makes a difference. So that made me feel pretty special and pretty good.
Francina, too, I think about it all the time because we always talk about, I call it the brother they and sister somebody, because we're always saying, pointing away from ourselves, and we're always saying somebody ought to do something. Somebody ought to say something. Well, they need to do this or they need to do that. Well, we are the they.
Right.
We are the somebody. And we have a voice. We have a voice. And we can't sit back and say, well, my voice doesn't make a difference or my story doesn't make a difference or anything like that. We have to understand that it is important, that there is value, that we have a circle, that each of us is an influencer in our own way and in the things that we do. And that's what it means to be living proactively. We can't wait for the storm to hit before we act or react to things. We can't wait until the election, and we talked about that a little bit the other day. 2024 is a very, very important year. And a lot of times when people don't vote and people don't go out and do things, it's because they are unaware. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know these people. I don't know what they stand for. I don't know where they are on the issues. And we need to be better informed. That's how to be proactive. So, elections coming. There are going to be offices that are open. How do we go about becoming or getting informed now and beginning to follow some things now so that in 2024 we are not voting blindly? You know what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
how does some of that work, that we find out exactly where we are and who to look at and look out for?
Well, what you do is you can go to the website, the North Carolina Voter Guide. It has all the information on there of what who's when elections are coming up, who's running, and they tell you about them. They give you a description of the person. They let you.
And that's any state. We're
Yes,
talking from the perspective
yes,
of North
and
Carolina,
any state,
but
any
in
state,
any state. So
any
those of
state.
you who
Yes,
are tuning in from other areas and other places, what we're saying in terms of North Carolina is true in South Carolina, Ohio, Chicago, wherever it is that you are living. It's the same kind of process. I didn't mean to
exactly.
cut you off, Francina, but go ahead.
Yes, yes. So, and they would go to that, and that's where they get all the resources, all the information, everything they need. They just follow the instructions on there. I mean, and it gives you step by step instructions, so you will know. And another thing, what it is even with this here, and I know we're going to probably get back to that, is knowing your district. You need to know what district you're in. You so that way that tells you who your House representative is going to be, who your senator is going to be, and that way you can follow them. How
Hmm.
do you follow them? They got they social media. Get their Facebook page. You know, some people do Twitter. I'm just learning. I ain't good with Twitter, but a lot of the legislators they like Twitter. They do Facebook, but they love Twitter. So my thing is, just trying to learn these things and follow them.
Hmm.
The other thing is also with that, like I said, sign up for newsletters.
Okay.
So that way you get information coming to you in your emails about um different things or places they may be going. They maybe have town hall meetings. They may be in the area where you live at. So you want to go and you ain't gotta, do anything. Just sit back and listen, see what it's about so you can get understanding. So then you will know how you want to, react to it.
Hmm. Hmm. And
And
that brings us. You said something about the town meeting, and you had an opportunity to go to one. I think yesterday, because
yes,
we talked about the state and national impact that you can have when you get in touch with your congressmen and your senators, and we can no longer sit back and say we don't have time.
hmm
We can't afford not to make time in some of these areas. Now maybe you won't go to visit your congressman, but maybe there's something else that you can do to support the effort for those who are going. But you as an individual, how knowledgeable are we about the community that we live in and some of the things that are going on, right under our nose, So there are these town hall meetings. There are things that we were talking about, uh, the making calls. You were talking about Francina having these meetings. We talked about the media, not social media, but the media. There are places where you can send your letters to the editor, or send your questions in. Take advantage of that. Join some of these organizations that you can support somehow, like ASCAN and those things, and advocacy groups and different groups that are out there. Like and share. When you see something on social media that is worthwhile, that is worthwhile. We're not going to support crazy. We're not going to support, just people who are vengeful about things, but things that are worthwhile. Like and share. Share with your circle of influence. Share with the people that you know, people at your church. We all have a circle. We all have a
yes.
circle of influence. Could be your neighbor to your left and your right, could front, behind, whatever. But, and we talked about that too. Who's in your neighborhood? Who is in your community? Who, what do you know? What do you know
You
about
know,
the neighbor?
and let me say something about the community because I'm guilty. I've been living in my area for 18 years and only know my neighbor to the left and to the right of me, and that's it. And that's bad considering what I do. But I do, and as me and as y'all out there, y'all can go to, they have fundraisers, they have health fairs in your community. You can go to those. You can get something together with your family. Somebody in your family might have hypertension or they might have diabetes. Those are causes that have organizations out there. Do something for your family and then take that fundraiser or that donation and donate it to the cause. There
Mm-hmm.
are things that we can do proactively.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, and so when you see, like I said, things on Facebook, and if it's in your area, just go so you can meet people, see what it's about, see, because it might be something in there that interests you. You
Right.
know, like I'm having relay. We having a relay for life. That's an organization that I'm also with that deals with all cancers, and we're having an event on the 29th of April at a park. And what we do is and there's no campaigning. We already told them, our congressmen, they can come, but there's no campaigning. You come in there to be a part of the community, and what we do is we have music, we have Zumba, we have games, bingo. We have people have tables up there selling food, but everything that we do is a fundraiser, and it goes towards the American Cancer Society. Which with them, the funds are used for people who need to have transportation, maybe to their appointments, people who might need help with co-pays,
Mm-hmm.
people who may need money for medications, treatment. So these dollars, when people asking, we're not asking just to be asking, because we asking because we're trying to help those that don't have access. And like I said, anything that you give is appreciated. I don't, and nothing too small. But we do have to get involved, because that could be us. That could be our family member that need that type of help, the type of care, where we may not be able to do it ourselves, but knowing that these organizations are out there, that we can get resources that will be able to help.
That's
And
very key. That's very key, Francina. And it is interesting because, and I had made a note about it for tonight. You were saying that had it not been for your cancer journey, that there were just, you probably would not have connected with uh, ASCAN, or
mm-hmm,
some of the other things that you're doing and the support groups that you're a part of. And that we need to know what our passion is. What is it that you are passionate about? If you're wondering, how do I get plugged in and how do I do things? How do I know what to do in my community? Follow your passion. Follow your
mm-hmm,
passion, and that will help to expand your circle, and that will help to expand your knowledge base, and that will help you to better understand what is out there. Now, I'm
mm-hmm,
not a member of this organization per se, but there is a nonprofit organization here in Raleigh in the Wake County area, and it deals with homelessness, particularly in finding homes for families. There's a huge number of children who are part of the homeless population out there. And they do periodically if you're saying, I don't really have a lot of money to contribute, periodically they will do a matching funds thing,
mm-hmm,
where if you whatever you give, they will double or they will triple, that amount. So maybe I don't have $100, but if I give 50 on a triple match, then I've really given 150. You know what I'm
mm-hmm,
saying? So if we look into the things that we are passionate about, a young lady at church was dealing with lupus. Well, that's my sister passed from lupus. She had it at a time where they didn't really know much
mm-hmm,
about it, didn't really know what it was, and she, lost her fight. But I was able to provide transportation for the young lady. I didn't tell her what my situation had been with my sister, but as a result of that, when the lupus walk comes around and they are looking for funds, I have a different perspective on it.
mm-hmm,
So when you're just listening within your circle of influence, and you find yourself being passionate about different things, then you can get involved. You can see, well, on like at our church now, we have a prison ministry. If that's something, if you've known somebody who's incarcerated, if you're interested in that, then two Mondays a month, one for a meeting and one to actually go and minister. There's so many opportunities out there to use your voice and to make a difference. I would say, I want to be a difference maker. I want to make a difference. I
mm-hmm.
want to change. It's not always monetary.
Exactly.
It is not
Exactly.
always monetary. There's so many things that you can do. I'm gonna ask you a question, Francine, and I'm asking this for everybody who is listening in. Now thinking about your circle today and what we can do and who we connect with. How many new people or new organizations have you become a part of in the last year or the last 5 years? You don't
Ooh.
have to answer me. You don't have to answer me if you don't want to.
Oh, I don't mind.
But if your circle has not changed, if you have not met any new people
Yeah.
that you have connected with in the last year or the last 5 years, you're not using your voice as much as you can. You're not making as much of a difference as you really are able to. And you don't even think about it because we're in our little cluster, we're in our little group, we got our little routine. We stay in our little routine and we complain about all the things around us that we could impact if we were proactive and used our voice. You look like you're just waiting. Let me tell it. Let me tell it.
I did. We have what we call next door. It's like a community based people. Sit
Mhm.
there and talk, and they have all kind of information. But what I did was I had put on there. I was looking for volunteers to help me. Just to help me support whatever. And I had one lady answer, and we met.
Now, is this through a community organization or your breast cancer organization?
Well, it was just no. This like I said, it's community. It was
Okay.
next door, but I wanted to help me with what I was doing. I was doing
Okay.
like fundraisers, and just doing it by yourself sometimes is a little
Yeah.
difficult. It's better when you got some people to help. In
Hmm.
different areas. Well, only the one she answered, and we set up a meeting at Panera Bread, and we talked, and I told her my vision, what I was looking for, and everything, and she said, "Well, I can help you." This was 2 years ago. We are so connected. She has helped me do fundraisers. She has donated to the site. We do different things for each other. She's more quiet, not one to really be out there, but she does talk to people, tell them about the organization. And so and we give them, there's a website with my ACS Can website. She even joined that.
Hmm.
She's helping me with my Relay for Life. She's joined that as to be with me. So my thing is, had I not reached out, we would have never connected. And so therefore, when I say volunteering, yeah, they may ask you for a donation, and like I said, the donation is for a good cause, but they also get you plugged in. They
Hmm.
tell you how you could volunteer. You let them know what you would want to do. They give you different things that they share with you. You allow. I mean, they give you opportunities where you could come on to calls and just listen to conversations. See if it's some place that you would like to be plugged in, and if not, they have different areas that you can volunteer in. What's best for you, where you fit in, and that's how you get started. And that's in every state.
And see,
ACS Can is in every state.
when you were talking about that, though, okay, let's look at that for a minute. You had a need, and you reached out, and you found this woman who now has expanded your circle,
Hmm.
but she has a circle as well.
Hmm.
So if she reached 5 people in her circle
Hmm.
and they reach the people in their circle,
Hmm.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's
Hmm.
just this, there's this explosion of help. There's this explosion
Exactly.
of
True.
like-minded people who are wanting to do something positive, who are wanting to become the change that we talk about all of the time.
Right.
And you can do that, but it has to be intentional,
Yes.
it has to be proactive, and it has to be purposeful, and all those things. But we can make those things happen and we can make a difference. And we don't have to wait until we're senior citizens in order to
Exactly.
do that. the generation that is right behind us and the generation that is right behind them. And that takes us into the family thing. What are we doing with our families? How are we connecting with our families? How are we planting seed with our families? Because everybody doesn't have a family reunion. So if
True.
you don't have a family reunion, what you gonna do?
Hmm.
What you think, Francina? What you gonna do?
Again, just getting with your, starting off with your children, those that are immediate, that are close to you, and share, what you want to do, where you at, see where they at, how y'all can come together and make something happen. Once y'all get together and get out there, your family, your children, they have friends,
Yep.
and they can say, well, listen, my mom, we're going to do a walk. Can y'all come and walk with us? Or my mom wants to, she's selling bags, can y'all see if y'all want to go ahead and maybe take something to school? I mean, to work, or some maybe when you're out in the community, y'all got friends, talk to them, let them know, give them an understanding of why we do what we do. Because they have to also have some kind of knowledge, So I mean, you sitting and you talking, and like I said, and it's not hard, like you said, being intentional. This is something that you want to do. This is something that you like. And like I said, everybody has their own little gift or something that they like.
Mm-hmm.
They can use that to contribute. I got
Mm-hmm.
some little girls, they are decorating the bags because they like doing that. So that's how I got them involved. They're decorating the bags for me.
Mm-hmm.
So it's something that they can do that they will enjoy, that will help you out, and and you keep, just keep moving forward. But we got it. And my children, that's, I mean, they do help me as far as getting with their friends and getting them to donate. And my niece, because her mother, which was my sister, she likes to do the walks. They take the kids out, the whole family, and they go and do the walks, and support, some of the organizations. But because I guess I'm here and my family is not, is more difficult, because
It's
believe
hard.
me, if they was here, oh, I'd be done had them put to work. That would be no ifs, ands, or buts about it. But I do appreciate what they do, and then they also tell some of my story to their friends. This is my mom, and she's overcome, and so it encourages them. And when they find out that they know somebody, and I tell them, I said, well, if they open, tell them to give me a call. I can, talk to them. I can listen to what they have to say. If there's anything that I can help them with, let me know. So, that's also too, puts me, out there, even though we might be in different states, I can connect them to somebody that's in their state.
Mm-hmm. Something else too, I think about when I think about family in particular, and we're talking about making a difference and different things. And a lot of times we say, I wonder why, I wonder why I have this, or I wonder why I have that. Or you'll hear people say, Aunt so and so dealt with this, or Aunt so and so dealt with that, or Uncle Bob did this, or whatever. We have to find a way um, to really just sit down and talk
Mm-hmm.
to the matriarchs and patriarchs of our families. There's some amazing things that you will find out, and you don't always have to depend on ancestry.com
Right.
to find it out. Have a conversation. I learned that my dad was a direct descendant of the explorer Matthew Henson,
Wow.
and I had an opportunity to, and he and I both did, to meet when they brought the Eskimos here to the United States and had a big reception and did all of that. We had the opportunity to participate in that.
Mm.
And there are things that we interviewed a young woman the other day, and she was talking about how her mother was active in the civil rights movement when it came to housing and things like that. A lot of times, once these matriarchs and patriarchs move on and transition to their heavenly assignments, there's nobody left to tell us. There's nobody left to let us know what happened. There are things about our health. There's, I think you were sharing with me something about was, I don't know whether it was breast cancer that your mother and your aunt or somebody else, that the women in your family were
grandmother.
predisposed to. Grandmother,
Hmm.
yeah.
And I didn't find a lot of stuff out um, after. Well, I didn't know to the extent my grandmother, my father. I thought about. I didn't know she had a double mastectomy. I didn't find that out until after I was diagnosed.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and all of it is on my father's side. You
Mm-hmm.
know, his sister, my two first cousins, all of them was before me. Now my aunt was after me. She was in her 70s when she was diagnosed. But like I said, these were things that had no idea. You know, and like I said, now coming up, you know, finding out, I knew something about my grandmother with congestive heart failure because she was on my father's side, but I had a close relationship with her.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
I knew about these things. And when she was in the hospital, when I was living in Maryland, she had me down for the doctors to talk to when things was going on. So that's how I knew about her. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't know about my aunt had congestive heart failure until last week. And then she had a
Wow.
leaking heart from her daughter when I was telling her what the doctors had said about my father. And
Mm-hmm.
so I'm like, wow, you know, and
Yeah.
it's unfortunate. But like I was saying earlier, you know, before when I was coming up, we couldn't ask no questions. You know, it was like you stay in the child's place. This is grown folks, you know. So we knew better, and it's unfortunate because now we're reaping, you know, things that if we had known earlier, maybe we could have prevented it. You know, had some prevention measures put in place, or at least we would have known what to be looking out for at an earlier stage. But
Mm-hmm. A
thank
lot of
God,
times,
though.
I know I've heard that some people, when they have their family reunions and things, that they set aside a time when they have their programs or whatever, that they set aside a time for financial peace and life insurance peace and things like that. So as we're being proactive and living life proactively, let's start thinking, about what we are sharing. It doesn't always have to be just about food, and it definitely doesn't have to be arguing about what happened 10 years ago, that you and Junebug still mad at each other and not talking. So it doesn't have to be that.
Right.
Think of something, be creative, think of a way to really, really learn about your family. I don't think about it until I go to the doctor, and they have the section about family history. Has anyone in your family had diabetes? Has anyone in your family had tuberculosis? Has anyone in your family had this, that, and the other? And that's the only way I knew about some of those things, because I would go back home and I'd say, okay, here's the list that I can remember. Anybody had this, anybody had that, anybody had the other. And there were just things that had I not asked, I would not have known. But it's just like you saying, having that knowledge allowed me to watch out for some things, to do some things a little differently, to not be surprised when certain diagnoses did come. And my knowledge of what had happened with family before helped the doctor then know how to treat and prescribe and diagnose and all of those other things. So there is a way for us to make more of an impact than we realize, and we can do it from a state and national level. We can do it through different things in our community, and we can do it starting right with our families. We can begin to live a proactive life, and I think that is very, very important. So I tell you what, we're almost out of time, Francina. This time goes by so fast sometimes. I always appreciate when you come on with me, and we always have something to talk about that I hope will be helpful to our listeners out there and those who will share the program and come back for the replay of it. but we have a responsibility um, to share. We have a responsibility to share. We have more information than we realize.
Hmm.
We have more in us that we can't always identify. We God has put a lot in us, and it's not just in terms of gifts and talents, but the experiences that we go through, the things that happen to us, the things that we live through, the things that we are able to combat, the things that make us victorious, the things that make us more than conquerors. All of
Hmm.
that is not just for us. It is for us to help those who are coming along behind us.
Yes.
It is for those in our circle. Nothing is by accident. We talk about people who are with us for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. All of those things, all of those categories are connections to our journey, are connections to help someone with their journey, are connections that keep the light and love of Christ flowing through the things that he does, through the arenas that he puts us in. And yes, yes, we can live our best life now, but we can also live our lives proactively to
Yes.
make a difference for somebody else.
Yes.
I think that's important. That's it, man. I tell you what. Francine, you have any closing remarks for us
Yes,
tonight?
I do.
Okay.
I want to ask everybody to. It is vital and very important to get to know who your legislators are. And I say that because they put out a lot of policies that affect us. And they're making decisions on our behalf when we need to be making these decisions and letting them know, what is needed, how it affects us, especially as African American women.
Uh huh.
So, in order to do that, we got to get connected to them. So you got to know who they are. Go and look at their bios. Look and see what they represent. Look and see the type of policies and committees that they're on. Is there anything that they're dealing with or talking about that may affect you, somebody in your family, somebody close to you, so that you can have a say? My thing is, we have to stop the silence. And education and using our voice is key in making a difference. We have the power to make a difference.
Yes, we do. Absolutely. Absolutely. Francina, I can't think of a better way to end this program because we do. We do have a power. We have a voice. We have been empowered in ways that we don't even realize. And we got to put that stuff to work. We got to put it to work. And we're going to live proactive lives and we're going to make a difference. State, national, community, family.
That's right.
Yeah, we got it. We got it. Okay, that's it for us for the evening. Look, don't forget, we got things coming up. Have a reading for His Glory on Saturday, April the 29th. And I want everybody to register for and come on out and do that. And then we have Make It Count, which is going to be our 5th anniversary celebration. That's going to be June 10th. So keep an eye out. I'm going to have stuff in the newsletter and I'm going to be talking about it every program from now to then. So if you want to participate, and I sure want you to, be sure that you do that. But put a big circle on your calendar right now so that you know that unfortunately you won't be able to go to the ASCAN event. But you won't be able to walk that day. 1 to 3, you're going to be doing something else. And we appreciate that. We appreciate that. So thank you so much for being with us. Thank you for the countries who come in. We welcome them and thank them for being a part of the discussion. Pass this information along because, like Francina said, it's not just for the state of North Carolina. It is everywhere, everywhere. Let your voice be heard. Expand your circle. Talk to your family and watch, watch, watch. because you will make a difference that you didn't even realize. So
Amen.
that's for the evening. Francina, again, thank you so much, lady, for being with me tonight and for sharing the information that we did. And don't forget, folks, this show will re-air on Saturday at noon. Saturday at noon. So if you know somebody who can benefit from the information and the things that we talked about tonight that may not have been on and you weren't able to share, tell them to listen, to come back to ALH Broadcasting on Saturday at noon so that they can get some of this great information and move forward in their own journey. So until next week, you have a wonderful week out there, everybody. And come on back at 7 p.m. and get ready to turn down the volume of life for just about 45 minutes. And you'll be ready to receive so that when life speaks, what's going to happen, Francina?
You speak life.
There you go.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, everybody.